Today is day 1 of teaching. I am currently sitting in my office trying to gather up the courage to go teach my first class. I have about a half hour. I just printed my class roster and I am constantly doubting what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. I have the syllabus printed out for my students, mostly because I didn't publish my Canvas page ahead of time. But I know I have to go over the syllabus. I know that I have to introduce myself. I know the icebreaker that I'm going to have my students do, which is an index card where they write down a thing they are concerned about in the class, and then write down, I think what I'm going to have them do, they're going to get 2 index cards. On the first index card, they are going to write down a fun fact about them, and I'm going to contribute to them because I want them to interact with each other and exchange contact information. The second thing that I want to do is kind of have them write down something they're afraid of. They can be afraid of something school related or not school related, but they need to, my goal with this is that they meet at least 2 people, mostly, if not 3 people. And I want them to exchange information using the index card. One side's going to be the thing about them. The other side's going to be the contact information of the person that got their card. So it's a randomized thing. I honestly don't know how it's going to go. I currently have the song Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious stuck in my head, and I'm thinking of opening up with, there's a song stuck in my head that I don't even know why it's stuck in my head, but it's Mary Poppins Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do, and I need to get my stuff together for this. Last night before going to sleep, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. This morning, right before coming to school, I can do this. Now that I'm actually at school, I don't want to do this. So I will check back in a few mere seconds for you, but for me, I would have already taught my first class, which is exciting and nerve-wracking. Teaching log day 1 after class number 1. I just taught my first class and it was great. I went in early. I guess there's no class before my class. I went in early, put on some lo-fi music, forgot to turn it off, but kept teaching. Students started trickling in and started talking to each other, kind of. I guess 1 or 2 knew each other, went to the same school or played the same, I don't know. It was weird, and I was just sitting in the desk because when I went in the room, the class was set up in like a semicircle, and this room is a really weird layout. The projector and the board are in a different setup. The black room's in the back, the black box is in the back of the room. But I went in early, set up everything, opened up my Canvas page, had my syllabus printed to give them, had the schedule available for them to view. And early on, I told my students, if I start talking too fast and it feels, or you hear that I'm not breathing, raise your hand and tell me to slow down and drink water. I sometimes just get too into it, and they laughed, which was good, I guess. I kind of told them early on that I have a huge workload also. I'm willing to work with them. I can't spend all my time checking my emails for them. But I gave them a heads up. Most of the class, when it was actually in session, they were quiet. One or two did raise their hands while I was talking, and it was a relevant time for me to stop, especially asking questions such as like, where do we buy our books? Where do we buy green books? Which was a really good question I completely forgot about. I asked them if they knew how to access their CSUN email and Canvas, still showed them how to do it, talked to them about email etiquette, telling them like, don't address me as yo or dude or something like that. They laughed, but again, that's good in a way, because I rather them laugh and kind of connect something I said to their laughter. I ended up using the entire class time talking about the syllabus, talking about Canvas, talking about what to expect for the next class. I didn't really get a chance to talk about the rigor of the class, which I should have, but I did give them a heads up that the class will be somewhat fast-paced because there's a lot of assignments, and I did tell them early on, like, do the readings, expect to write a lot, expect to revise a lot. And I kind of gave them like, I hate revising too, but I have to do it. The icebreaker that I did today was great. Earlier I talked about possibly doing 3 index cards, which I thought was going to be too much. I ended up just using 2 index cards. One where they would write a fact about themselves. I even wrote one myself. And 2 was a fear or a concern. So like for me, I wrote my own card, my own card information. Like the fun fact is like, I think coffee flavored ice cream shouldn't exist because I don't like coffee, but everyone of course has their own opinion. And the fear, I kind of told them like, I'm afraid of giving up with everything going on, and I kind of explained to them. And then I had them try to find the owner or writer of the index card. And they're like, oh, I'm done, I win. They made it like a game, and that was great. I should have thought of that. But I didn't make it a game. I just told them, well, if you got yours, take a seat. That does not mean that both of the cards that you wrote have been found. Then I noticed that there was about 10 minutes left of class. 15 minutes left of class. So I told everyone to take a seat. And for those who haven't found the owner of the card, to raise their hands, read it out loud, like, hey, who is afraid of heights, for example? And the owner would raise their hands, and then they would exchange the information. So the owner of that card, the writer of the card would write their name, an email address, a phone number, and the person who received the card keeps it. Those who got my fun fact and fear, I changed cards with them because I also got 2 cards, but I wasn't going to go looking for them. Just because I didn't want them. Everyone in the class already has my information. And it was really great. I, at the last couple minutes, told them, hey, I want to learn your names. Just give me some time. Let me know what your name is, and I'll give you a roll. Well, one of the things that happened in class, one of my students came in like about halfway through the class, late. Mostly because he was originally enrolled in a 114A that wasn't my class, and the class that he was enrolled in was in a different building, and I guess he didn't end up checking his portal before class and went to that building, and then came in late to class in the middle of my syllabus thing, overview, but I just handed him a syllabus, kept going, and try to answer any questions he had, because he did have questions like, where do we buy the book, what do we need to get, and I just repeated one or two things that I had just gone over, so that way I can emphasize it to my students. And then at the end of class, this student came to me and told me his situation, and I told him what happens. Like, that class was under enrolled, students in that class were given to me, and they changed the room number. Just next, for future instances, just check your portal the week school starts, so that way you don't have to worry about this, but it's common. You're not going to get penalized for anything. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. You can come to my office hours. Just make sure you go over the syllabus. I gave him a really, really brief overview of the assignments that he needed to do beforehand. That was great. But I can tell that this student is one of the only students that is I can be more concerned about, because he felt insecure about the class, and that's okay. But I was thinking of telling my students that this is my first time teaching, and I didn't. I just told them that I have been at school for almost 8 years, at CSUM particularly, so I don't know. It was a good class. I'm still freaking out. Like, my heart rate is still pumping, but it's the adrenaline, and I can't wait to see what else happens. Because at the end of the day one is easy compared to the rest of the semester. So I guess this is the end of teaching log day 1, log entry 1, I guess. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Oh,